Welcome to Before, During, After, a Smirk Experience podcast about performance from the inside. Every week, I'll sit down with a professional comedian to unpack how they prepare for a gig, what they're thinking about while they're on stage, and how they reflect once it's over. Because great performances don't just happen, they're built. This week's guest is Nathan Caton, whose comedy CV has pretty much got the lot. Nathan has done Live at the Apollo, Mock the Week, Channel 4's Comedy Gala at the O2, plus many, many more. Nathan and me discuss how he prepped for Live at the Apollo, working with some of UK comedy's greats, the future of online gigs, plus some of the weirdest shows he's ever done. Enjoy. Nath, take us back to your first ever gig. Tell us a bit about that.
Okay. I need to answer that question with the question because technically I have two first gigs. So, do you want the first time I was ever doing comedy on a stage in front of an audience, or the first time at an actual proper gig? Because they're two different things.
Oh, right. Well, I think we'll have to have both, won't we?
Okay. So, the first time I was actually performing comedy in front of an audience was when I was 14 years old. I was doing comedy at my church that I grew up in. So every September time, they used to do like a harvest supper talent show, right? Where various people from the church would go up and do something. It was a song. And once the priest did a magic trick. It's a talent show where it's just something for the congregation.
Yes, yes.
And someone dared me to do some comedy because I was mucking about all the time. I was joking about and like, no, instead of mucking about and teasing me, go and do some comedy. And I was like, all right, cool. So I didn't know how to construct jokes and stuff, but I'd watch things on TV. It's like, okay, I'll stand there and I'll just, try to make people laugh. So what I did, I had a few jokes, but some were like, your generic like pub jokes and stuff, a long setup and then a boom boom punchline. And then I did some jokes about people in the church, so it made it relatable.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think
Bit
I
of
feel
crowd
like,
work.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was emceeing before I knew what an MC was. But, so I think I did like a Lord's Prayer, but I made it relevant to people in the church and spoofed it and stuff.
Oh,
So,
right. Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I don't know if that's blasphemous, but it worked at the time.
How old
Um,
were you?
14.
I've heard a lot of adults do what sound like a lot worse sets than your 80s. There's a bit of variation in there.
Well, it worked. Yeah, people laughed. I think because I made it relatable, and I
Yeah.
came off stage like, okay, people look at me, go, yeah, it's funny, well done. I was like, okay, I like this adulation. But even though I liked it, and I thought, okay, I want to do this again, I didn't actually do it again for another 5 years, because I was focused on my education. My family drilled into me education. So my first proper gig on the circuit, 19 years old. Uh, it was in this, I think it's called Bar 187, something like that. It's not there anymore because it's a dive. It's now a Sainsbury's local in Old Street in London.
It rings a bell. I think I might have done it years and years ago. Go on, carry on
And it
anyway.
was it was a diver, right?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, it was. Yeah.
yeah, it was awful. Basically, so I used to buy the Time Out magazine, and they used to have all the listings for comedy shows.
Yes.
And every now and again, they'd have like a open spot or open mic night, and like ask, call this number if you want to get on. So I got in touch. Yeah, come down, do 5 minutes. I went down, and yeah, it was horrific. Honestly, like the room was split into two via a curtain. Right. So on one half you got the gig, and the other half there's people playing pool and drinking and playing darts and stuff. And
Yeah.
because there's only a curtain partition, you could hear everything. So you're on stage and you're hearing people like, you know, a few meters away having conversations and laughing and stuff like that. Yeah, the gig was awful, the set was awful, and I was even worse than that. I died so bad. It
Yeah.
was yeah. Yeah, it was because I was 19, I was young, cocky. I didn't have any material, but what I had was confidence and I had the stage presence. And that's what got me through.
Yeah.
I mean, you could say that got me through, probably still now, maybe. But at the time when I was 19, um, yeah, I just, I just, I enjoyed being on stage, but I didn't have any jokes. So even though I died and I came on stage like, okay, I actually felt comfortable up there. So I just kept on going back to like different open mic nights uh, until I developed, a few minutes of jokes, then 5 minutes, and so on. So, because yeah, the confidence was there, the stage presence was there, the material wasn't there. That's what I needed to work on.
Right, you are. And so much in that. The last thing you said about being comfortable with failure, we take
Mm.
groups through exercises in resilience because
Oh
it's a
yeah,
handy thing for companies to have. Like if you've got your team working on a big pitch and they get down to the last two and lose it, that's a
yeah,
downer. But what you don't want is them moping about the office for the next 2 weeks after, because that's just costing
mm.
you money. You
Yeah,
need
yeah,
them
yeah.
back out there. And I always say to people, if you can be comfortable with failure, you can pretty much achieve anything you like.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, because then you think, well, it can't get any worse than this. The only way is up. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. And you realize that it's not actually as bad as what you think it is, like dying
yeah,
on stage. I often find it's more awkward watching someone dying on stage than it actually is being the one dying on stage.
oh yeah, as in that you feel that cringe, you feel bad for them, so you
Yeah,
kind of go,
yeah. I
oh,
get more like, oh, please say something funny.
yeah. You want them, yeah, you want to pull it through.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's funny watching a death.
Oh,
Uh,
no. Well, some people style it out. I can't remember who it was. Like people that do like late and live, which is like a
yeah,
sort of famous like bear pit of a gig that starts
mm,
at midnight at the end of the
yeah,
fringe. And people who are drinking in the loft bar can walk through and kind of watch from the rafters.
yeah,
And you hear some great stories. It's obviously a very late drunk crowd, and you hear some great stories of people kind of going down in flames.
yeah, yeah. I know, but then
Like
those
all
kind of
all all guns blazing
yeah. I'm going down and taking everyone here with me. Yeah,
as the boat sinks under the water.
yeah. Yeah, but I always think like even though you don't want to die on stage and you don't want to fail, but that's where you learn the most.
Oh yeah,
Do you know
absolutely,
what I mean?
absolutely right. I've sometimes had like dozens of gigs in a row that all go well, and you get used to
Mm,
like buffing your nails
yeah,
at the
yeah,
bar
yeah,
while blokes want to buy you a pint, girls want to give you their phone number, promoters want to see when you can come back and do the gig again.
yeah,
It's when the needle scratches off the record and 250 people all decide they hate you at once.
yeah. Well, I've had more than that recently. I did doing a cruise gig where there was hundreds just staring at me for 30 minutes. And I'm like, okay,
Oh,
okay,
God.
this is a battle.
And the trouble with a cruise gig, of course, is that you're bumping into them at the buffet for the rest of the cruise, or were you kind of separated from them?
Well, I was tempted to just jump overboard and swim home. I mean, I've got my Duke of Edinburgh water. Let's go. Um, no, I kind of what I do like well on the cruises anyway. I just walk around with my AirPods in, right, to give the impression that I'm listening to music. So don't talk to me or don't like I can't hear you, and I
Right.
just do that. Keep my head down and just keep myself to myself.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I can imagine that being the case. Although I once had the opposite of that. I once was doing the Brighton Fringe and
Mm.
I think some family had come to watch, and they were getting a different train back because they needed to get off at a different stop. So I was on this train and I was just looking for a spare seat, and the
Yeah.
show had gone really well. And there were three people coming back who'd seen the show. So they look
Okay.
up and they're like, "Oh, the comedian!" And I go,
Okay.
"Oh, hello, you're right there." And they said, "Where are you sitting?" And I said, "I don't, I was just looking for a space." And they said, "We got one here." And I was like, "Yeah, go on, I'll do that." And yeah, we had a really
Really?
fun trip back into London. I think one of them had a few drinks in a bag, and it's like, "Oh, this is all
Oh, okay. That's the best after party of your career.
yeah, right. It was. Yeah, 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 yeah. That was funny what you said a while ago about learning in a church group, because there's quite a few
Mm.
comics that I think I'm right in saying I'm not too much of a like a student of old comics, but I read a book about Bill Hicks where I think
Mhm.
he started off on a church group.
Okay.
I think Sam Kinison, you ever see him? The guy
Oh,
on
she's
the
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's some Caton.
screaming and shouting and saying, "There's no food there."
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All of
Okay, I
those
mean,
things. He
yeah.
used to be some, I think I'm right in saying that he had some kind of religious connection. Have you
Okay.
ever made the link in all the times you've been gigging about, the sort
Ooh.
of preachy type kind of power that you get doing it?
No, I've never. I mean, I don't consider myself a loud preachy comedian, so I guess I've never really had that
No.
link. But I guess there are elements that are similar in them holding a crowd, holding their attention,
Yeah.
getting your point of view across.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That
yeah.
that does translate over. So maybe subconsciously I've kind of picked up some of I don't know, skills and or elements of it kind of seeped into me. But I don't know, I never really thought about the connection between.
Well, Nate, all I'm saying is if you were ever playing at my local tabernacle, I think I might wander down and hear one or two of the sermons.
Oh my, no, listen, you don't want to hear any sermons from me, mate. Honestly.
Father
Oh
Nathan
gosh.
Caton. Tell it like it is, Nate. Yeah,
Oh
do another one.
no. So, some of the things I've done over the last few years, you don't want to hear any of my sermons. No, no, no.
I think, maybe, I mean, I'm just thinking out loud here. Maybe, dwindling church numbers, comics looking for gigs. I'm just kind of spitballing an idea here. Maybe you could
I
get
have
Bill Kay running a Sunday service somewhere.
I have done your church gig actually here and there.
Have you?
Like yeah. Um
Jenny Collier was on here the other day talking. In fact, I was just about to ask you a question that might cover that you might cover in this, or it might be. You mentioned about the partition down the middle of the room. What
yeah.
have been some of the weirder setups that you would have done early on in your career? Because it can be
Oh man.
a bit of a roller coaster, can't it? When you turn up to a new gig and you have a look and you're like,
Yeah.
"All right, okay."
So I've done a gig at a lacrosse club um, where basically they were out on the field um, playing lacrosse and drinking, and then I just had to just stay inside and do comedy and try and get them to come inside.
Oh, right.
That was the gig basically. Me basically, I spent the time trying to get their attention before I can do the gig, and yeah, and
What
now
an
yeah,
absolute
again,
waste. What an absolute waste of a comic like Nath. Like,
but I died on my hole, and then I remember waiting outside for my taxi, came to the station, and I heard someone jump on the mic and go, "Okay, guys, I'm gonna do some jokes because that comedian was pants." And I was like, oh, "You have no idea about the setup, how bad you've made it for me." It's not that I'm pants. The way you try, like, a lot of people want comedy but don't know the basic fundamentals to
no,
set up a comedy night properly. Everyone thinks, oh, you just get a comedian, get a mic. It's like, no, 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 you need the right room, you need seating, lighting, sound. They don't think that. just think you can stand in and it will work. Like I did a Christmas gig, right? I mean, Christmas gigs are notoriously awful, but this one, oh, as soon as I walked in, I should have just walked back out because I knew I was going to die. Um, I walked in, and it was a circle room. Okay, there's a bar, a circular bar, right in the middle of the circle room. There's no stage, so people are sat in tables in a circle around this centerpiece of which is the bar. So instead of having a stage, they wanted me to just walk around and do my set from table to table for like 30 minutes. No, that's not going to work because if I go in one corner, the other side of the circle, they're not going to see me because the bar's in the way. They're going to start talking. If I go to them, the other side, they're now
Cool.
excluded from the gig. They're going to start talking. And that's exactly what happened. I just died for 30 minutes. And then I remember the promoter said, how was it? I was like, never put comedy in that room again. Awful. Like,
Yeah.
they just thought, okay, yeah, we'll get a comedian for our Christmas do that'll work. It's like, this room doesn't need comedy. What you
No.
need, just have like music, food, drinks, and you're good.
Yeah. So you turned up, pointed out how the gig was going to go, and they said, okay, that's really interesting, but we filled all of these tables in this room, so good luck.
Yeah, basically, yeah. And it went exactly how I told them it would. Yeah,
Yeah, man. I mean, it's not, yeah, people just don't realize the basics of pretty much everything in a decently set up comedy club is set up so the comic can dominate the audience.
yeah, exactly.
Everyone, theatre style seats, you're facing the same way.
Yeah,
The stage is lit, the audience is in the dark, the comic's on a stage, the audience are on the ground, the comic is amplified, the audience are
yeah,
not.
yeah.
Everything is set up. And when you start taking those things away and saying, oh, that'll be all right, you are playing with fire for the gig to go well. It's not blinking rocket science, but so many
No,
people just fail to do that.
yeah. And then when it doesn't work, they look at the comedian like, well, you weren't
Yeah.
funny. Why can't you make it work? It's like, if you put me in a crap car, I'm not going to bomb it down the motorway. The car's going to break down. That's exactly what's happening with this gig.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Well, Nath, we've plumbed the depths of some of the gigs now, so I think it's only fair and correct for us to look at some of the heights as well.
Okay, okay.
You're far too modest to list them, so I will do it for you. You
Oh gosh.
live at the Apollo twice,
Yeah.
back when people were actually watching it as well.
You
That
said
was
that. I didn't say
me. That that was mean, but it's
that.
statistically true. Stand up for Channel 4 at the O2,
Yeah.
a bunch of the panel shows.
Hmm.
Take us through some of those. Like, I don't know, let's do live at the Apollo, shall we? Take us through the whole day of shooting that. Do you get to like practice, for example, before anyone gets in there? How does it work?
No, basically, you spend the 2 3 months leading up to it just doing that same set over and over and over and over and over. And when you get bored, you continue doing it over to the point where it's so tight and polished, you almost know it word for word. So when I first got the gig, I remember my agent telling me, okay, just book booking as many gigs as you can, like in London where you are, and just go there and just do that set. Keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it. If there's any fat, get rid of it, trim it, so it is like airtight by the time it gets to the recording. So that's what I did for like the preceding months. On the day itself, um, I knew my set, but I was still nervous because it's the Apollo, and I mean it's a massive venue. It's a well known venue, and when I started doing stand up, Live at the Apollo was like the show. It's like, it's like, oh, one day I wish I could be there. And then here I am doing it. I'm like, well, okay, all right, don't mess this up. So you get to the Apollo nice and early, have some food, get your outfit ready and stuff, and you're sitting there in your dressing room. Um, some people relax, or for me, I kind of felt like if I don't know, I was only there for maybe I don't know a few hours, but because I was so anxious and nervous, it felt like ages. And even though I knew my set, I was like, okay, you start to kind of doubt yourself. Okay, does that joke work? Okay, is there a stronger line, or should I change it? Even though I've been doing it for ages now and getting good laughs and stuff, and now you should start to second guess yourself. Um, then it comes to showtime now, and obviously there's on the show there's that massive Live the Apollo sign, and it comes up, and that's when the acts walk out. Right? So
Through the smoke.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'm stood behind that. I can hear the audience there, right? Because and also you do there's two shows recorded in one evening. So I'd watched the first show, and the audience they were there, they're laughing, they're cool. But then when you're stood behind, it sounds more daunting because you can't see them, but you can just hear how many people are there. Right? And then the lively Apollo sign starts to come up, and then the producer's like, "Okay, walk forward." Because of the smoke, I'm like, I can't see where I'm going. He's like, no, just walk forward, trust me. And I was like, dude, I literally can't see. He's like, just walk. So I walk forward, and next thing you know, boom, there's like how many thousand people just standing. I'm like, oh shit, okay, I need to. And it felt that moment, it felt like going back to that bar 187 because it felt like I was doing comedy all over again. I was having to prove myself all over again after all these years. But then once I got the first joke out and you hear the laughter, I was like, oh, okay, cool. Okay, this is it's another gig just on a bigger scale, and that was cool. After that, I was like, okay, fine. I think we're good. Let's go.
Yeah, nice one, man. No, it was a great set. How long do they get you to do versus how much is used on the telly? Do they edit it down from the set length that you perform?
Yeah. So on the night you do 20 minutes, and then for the half an hour episode, it edits it down to about 7 minutes, and then I think I don't think there still is, but a slightly longer version where it's about 45, 50 minutes episode, and that is 12 minutes or something like that.
Hmm.
But yeah, a lot of it is edited down. There's stuff that I did on the night. I was like, okay, I can't wait to see how that is when it comes out. And then it never made an edit. I was like, okay.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I suppose one thing working in your favor was that a gig in Hammersmith is almost a home venue for you, isn't it? Am I right in saying that is a Brentford shirt hanging on the door behind you?
Yeah, yeah. So I'm a West London boy, born and bred.
Did you
Uh,
get many friends and family in for the gig for that one?
yes, well, no, many, but my nearest and dearest, my mum, my brother, and my then girlfriend, now wife. They came along. I think that's what made it more special. Um, yes, Apollo was great, and yes, the gig went well. But the fact that my mum, my brother, and my wife were there to see me, like, oh, okay, Nathan's performing here. Right? Like my brother, for example, my brother's a very laid back, lackadaisical kind of guy. He doesn't really show emotion. But after the set, he was like, bro, that was funny, man. And that was like better than any review. Because like
Yeah,
hearing him say
right.
that,
Yeah,
it's like
right.
he
Oh,
never says that.
it was when he was laughing along with 3,500 people he realized that maybe you had a bit of talent after all.
Yeah. So I said, see, guys, look, I told you I can do it. I can do it.
No, it's cool doing well in front of friends and family. That must have been a lovely feeling.
Normally, I don't like performing in front of family and friends. I hate it. Like I try and stop family and friends from coming to any of my gigs because I just feel added pressure.
Right.
Because I mean, firstly, I don't like. I'm not. a dirty or blue comedian, but sometimes a swear word might slip out, or I might make a little quick sexual reference. And the idea of saying those things in front of my mum, I'm like, Mum, I'm so sorry. I'm a good boy. I swear. It's an act. It's just my joke, right? And also,
Was your
it's
mum one
just
of those West Indian mothers that would give you a clip round the ear when you were a kid, when you were
oh
naughty?
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Or just a stare was enough.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's
That
even
stare was like
worse.
no word. Just I was like,
Yeah, yeah,
okay, I'm
yeah,
gonna
right.
back up because I feel in danger of my life. Um, yeah, so yeah, performing in front of family and friends. Yeah, I hate it. Like my last tour show that I did last year, I did a show in Luton, and my wife's family are from Luton. They got very excited, very happy. They're like, oh, we've all bought tickets. There's, I don't know, 25, 30 of them, right, in the tour show. I was like, oh gosh, okay, fine. Well, okay, if you're gonna come, just please go to the back where I can't see you. Because if I see you, it'll put me off because I don't want to tell jokes. Again, and also my tour show was about my family, my wife's family. It was about us getting married. So they're heavily in my tour show. I don't want to be doing jokes about you if I can see you. So I was like, please go to the back where I can't see you. Let's start, the regular punters sit at the front, right? I walk out on stage and they are the front row. They're just looking up. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake. I told you, go to the back. And yeah,
Hopefully, hopefully you didn't have too much about your mother-in-law in the show.
um, you know what? I've got a routine about her, but I took it out because, yeah, it was one of those gigs where I was like, okay, just head down, plow through, and go home.
Take my mother-in-law, please. That's a little bit old school now. Although some of those mother-in-law jokes were pretty funny, I think.
I mean, listen, it's relatable and stuff, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, absolutely right. Now, one thing I want to take you back that you mentioned was to do with um, doubting yourself for a little
Mm-hmm.
while just
Mm-hmm.
before you went on stage at the Apollo.
Mm.
An extreme version of that is what some people call imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
That's, basically, I think, an amplified version of what you were thinking there. And it
Mm-hmm.
happens when people like move up to a new level. A perfect
Yeah.
example, first time that you'd done live at the Apollo, a little voice in your head is going, what are we doing here?
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you remember of any kind of like coping mechanisms you had with that, like methods to shut that voice in your head up?
Um, there's two main things. Firstly, I remember when I was in school, my drama teacher always used to say, if you get nerves or if you get doubts, that's a good thing because it means that you care about what you're doing. So carry on and execute it. So,
Right.
like, for example, when I did Apollo or any other time when I've done like any gig or whatever, and I've had doubts, even recently, like doing like cruise gigs, for example, right? Because I'm still fairly new to doing cruise gigs, and the clientele predominantly older crowd, and I was like, oh, how am I going to make these guys laugh? I can't do this. But then I remember, okay, well, obviously I care about doing this, so just focus, execute, and do it. And then the other thing that I tell myself is that, well, if I weren't good, I wouldn't be in this position.
Right.
So like doing Love the Apollo, it's like, well, they booked me for a reason
Yeah.
because they think I'm funny. You know, these jokes that I've been doing have been getting laughs in the comedy clubs. So logic should tell you there's a reason why you're here, and that kind of comes to me like, okay, maybe I do belong.
Absolutely. That is entirely true. And it's something that I share with groups on the workshops, like people getting nervous about doing a presentation or something.
Mm.
I always say to people, look, you're not doing that presentation because you've won some office raffle.
Yeah, yeah,
You're doing it because your governor thinks that your product knowledge is sufficient to be able to represent the company and do it. And that's
yeah,
basically what you've just said in a different way, isn't it, really?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, there's a reason that believe in yourself and your ability because other people clearly do.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly that. No, I think that's so true. Would you consider yourself a relatively kind of positive person in life?
Yeah, I'm just quite laid back, really. I mean, yeah, quite chill, quite laid back. If they're laughing, I'm getting paid. Happy days, I'm good.
Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah. Exactly. Exactly that. Let's talk a little bit about online gigs. You and I were just reminiscing for the
Mhm.
benefit of people listening to this. In 2020, when the Great Plague hit,
Yeah,
what kept the lights on for Smirk Experience was doing online comedy shows.
yeah,
And we started doing one or two for the public, which went okay. And then it dawned on me at around, I don't know, September, October, that the whole world had Christmas parties booked in pubs, clubs, restaurants, and hotels,
yeah.
and they were all going to be cancelled. So I put a little promo of the idea together and sent it round, and they proved to be really popular. And
Hmm.
Nathan was one of the. I'd always send like half a dozen comics to choose from with a biog and stuff. Some companies ended up doing loads of them, just with like different clients and stuff, or like something to do. And Nathan, with his back catalogue that we spoke about before, was very popular. And we had a laugh doing them, didn't we?
I had a great time. It was great. Honestly, I like by the time like the lockdowns finished, stuff, I was like, oh, I actually like to stay indoors doing comedy. Should we keep this girlfriend going? Do we have to go back outside?
Yeah,
Um,
right.
no, it was well fun. It was a different skill set to actually doing comedy,
Mm,
in live physical club. It was a different skill to just sat here and you seeing people on the gallery view and you kind of putting them out and talking blah blah blah. But I really got the hang of it, and
yeah,
also from a lazy perspective, I didn't have to travel.
yeah,
I mean,
right.
so I could do a few gigs in one day. All I got to do is log on, blur, log off.
Yeah,
Next one, log on, blur, log off. And I remember like, I had COVID actually. I remember one week I had COVID. Luckily, it wasn't bad,
no,
but I had COVID, and I just did Zoom gigs while I had COVID, sat in bed. Like this is brilliant.
yeah. It is. It crossed my mind. I mean, not that it would ever replace, you know, a nice packed in, noisy, low ceiling comedy club.
Mm.
But what crossed my mind was if you had like a pie chart of everyone in the country or everyone in the world who likes stand-up comedy, what percentage of that pie chart would regularly be going to live shows? And
Oh,
I would suggest it would be quite a small kind of slither of people
yeah,
who like it. Therefore, like it could be because of where they live, they might have family to look after, they might work weird hours. There's all
yeah.
different reasons. And it just crossed my mind, like, maybe there's who knows, maybe one day in our lifetime someone will crack it and we'll look back on this conversation like, man, we were talking about it on that podcast. Why didn't we
Yeah,
do it, Dave?
exactly. Yeah, no, missed out on a fortune. Damn it.
Yeah, because there were some things that were actually in your favor. Like if you do crowd work in a normal club and you pick the wrong person and you say, what do you do? He's some smart Alec who's going to say he's a dolphin trainer or something like that. And you're like, look, it's actually just funnier if I do the jokes and you just
Yeah.
answer me. But you can't normally say that. But the great
Yeah.
thing about the videos, because there'd be some people who didn't want to get involved and they just turn their camera off, but there'd be quite a lot of people who had their cameras on.
Mm.
You would know everyone's name immediately from the corner of
Yeah.
the thing.
Yeah.
And B, if you're asking them a question about something that's in their house, they can't think of anything funny to say to get off the hook.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
if a great big cat walks in front of the screen and you go, "My God, Jenny, that's the biggest cat I've ever seen. What do you feed it? Live chickens?" Then
Mm.
Jenny's got to be talking about the size of her cat now because
Yeah.
everyone's seen the cat.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. It's like the material's literally just right there. The joke is right there,
Yeah.
presenting itself here.
And
Yes.
other
Yeah.
people watching, if they had it on like gallery view, they could kind of
They
like
can see it as well. Yeah.
it. We had like a tech that would like do two screens with the comic and whoever the comic was talking to. It was their job to bring them up so everyone else could see. And yeah, they did. Because the whole thing about doing more than one show in a day, if you do two shows in a night, it's called doubling up,
Mhm.
and it's stressful because you've got to make sure the first gig starts on time. Then you've got to make sure
Yeah.
you can travel an okay distance where you're not like, breaking the speed limit to do it. All of those
Yeah.
types of things. Whereas, as you say, sometimes you'd have, I don't know, there were some days when we had like six or eight or something. You just finish one, have a wee, get a glass
Yeah.
of water, and then, hey,
Yeah.
everybody, welcome along.
Yeah. Exactly. It was. Yeah. And you still in the comfort of your own home.
Mm,
What a time to be alive.
yeah, right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. In fact, I remember me and you, because I used to say for the corporate bookings, we have a sort of standard hour-long show, but sometimes
Mm.
people would only want one act. And I can remember they wanted you, and I said, I'll do 5 minutes at the start, and you'll get the most out of Nathan.
Okay.
And I could tell that they were thinking, oh, bless him, it's his company. He wants to get up
Oh
and do a
no.
bit. He wants to just, grab some of the limelight. And then I can remember talking to you afterwards, and you were like, I don't want to do any more gigs where you're not bringing me on.
Oh, did I say that? Oh yeah. Well, it makes a difference, man. Like obviously, like the MC is there for a reason. You know what I mean? The MC is the narrator, the bridge. He's the connection between the guys who are doing sets and the audience. And also, I should say, the MC is a comedian also because a
Thank
lot
you.
of
Thank you for pointing that out,
yeah,
Nathan. Some
because
punters fail to always grasp that.
I know that I know. I mean, I only MC like my own gig. I don't really MC that much of, but sometimes you get, oh, you're really funny. You should be a comedian too. It's like, yeah, I I am. I just happen to be
Yeah,
the host, but I'm a comedian as well. Like we're
yeah,
all on the
right.
circuit. Yeah, people don't get it. They think you're just some random guy who's been employed to say just
Yeah.
read out names. Like, no, no, no. This is a skill. It's an art form.
Oh, yeah. And it's like pumping up the tires. I think I said to one company, I said, look, booking him without an MC to bring him on is a bit like hiring a Lamborghini and then using it just to take a load of crap from your shed to the dump.
Yeah, yeah,
You're not getting the best out of him. What you want is a nice open, coastal road. That's where you
yeah,
want
yeah, yeah.
your that motor. You don't want to be waiting in traffic for your turn to go to a dump.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you make the gig as good as possible. Hence, you have an MC.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't remember if it was you or someone else, but I said to one of the acts where I wasn't involved, well, what happened? And they said it was someone running a meeting basically, and the intro was something like, "Oh, and now to tell us some jokes, Nathan Caton."
Oh,
It was like,
oh, you know
was
what?
it
I just had a
you?
flashback. It was me. Yeah, it was me. Oh, Yes, I remember that intro, and I remember hating every single one of them.
And in fairness to
Oh,
all of the punters, they weren't in a comedy mood. That's why you need someone for 5 or 10 minutes to be like,
yeah,
"Welcome along. Right, this is how it's going to work. Steve, put that book down. We're doing this now. Whatever it
yeah,
is. Like
yeah,
this
yeah,
fella's
yeah.
done live at the Apollo twice. He's done the O2. Put your hands together, and then you've got like a rolling start, haven't you?
Yes, exactly. Like you created the perfect environment for the comedy to thrive.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So
Exactly.
thank you for doing that
My
so
dear
many
fellow,
times.
it's my absolute pleasure being the glue that holds together acts like your herself. But this goes back to a wider thing. Like one of the things that I would take groups through would be what someone once described to me as painting with strong colors.
Hmm.
You don't like something, you love it.
Okay.
Something doesn't kind of wind you up a little bit sometimes, it drives you around the bend and you can't stand it. Like that's one of the like tricks in a comics kind of toolkit, I say. Like if you want to elicit an emotion in your audience, you have to first show an emotion to them.
Oh, yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
Like
true.
like all of these rules, there are counter arguments, and there are like deadpan comics that never get excited, and they're still funny. But what I'm saying is, quite a lot of comics do use that, and definitely MCs do. That's an example of that. What I just said, instead of
Mm,
saying, "And now some jokes from Nathan Caton," I would bring people on the way I'd
yeah.
normally bring people on, and people don't realize the effect that has on an audience.
No, yeah. But it's I mean the laughter and the emotion, it's contagious, isn't it?
Yeah,
Uh, so if you're hyped up, they're gonna be hyped up. You know what I mean? That's like
yeah,
you're like you're setting the rhythm, and then it's just for them now to kind of get on board with it.
yeah. That's it. You're like a kind of
Yeah,
conductor.
exactly. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure. Yeah. So emotion is definitely emotion and energy. Yeah,
yeah,
is definitely a big factor. Yeah, if the crowd are dead, then yeah, I mean, I've done plenty of gigs over the years where the energy is just like, and then it kind of sucks the energy out of me. So then instead of getting them to come up to me, I end up going down to them, and
yeah.
sometimes I kind of just like I go past them. I was like, I hate this. I don't want to be here.
Right, right.
Head down. I'll do my 20 minutes of jokes in about 11 minutes and go.
Yeah, there's that. There's that. Who are some of the comics that you've gigged with where you've got a little bit like, what do you ever get like, I don't know what, starstruck?
Um, I don't know if starstruck would be the correct word, but I'm definitely um it's word in awe, or I feel um what's the word to describe it? It's not starstruck, but I just feel like wow, okay,
Yeah, yeah.
you
Or I think is a
oh
pretty
okay. Well, I'm just like okay, wow, I need to up my game. This is incredible what you're doing. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, that kind of feeling.
could
It's,
you
it's,
could you give us a couple of names, Nath?
oh, okay, all right. So for example, when I was doing open spots at the comedy store, right? So I mean, I'll explain it for people who don't know. The comedy store in central London, one of the biggest comedy clubs, not just in the UK but in the world. And uh, to get in there, you got to do like a 5 minute open spot, and then you either have to come back and do it again, or you have to go and do. Basically, you have to do lots and lots of unpaid open spots or tryout spots in order to finally get paid 20 set. So when I was doing my open spots, I remember there's one occasion. where I felt confident and I felt like my 10 minutes was good enough to be like, okay, cool. Hopefully I'll get paid 20 out of this. And it went well. I thought, fine, cool. And then afterwards, the same night, so Stephen K. was on and Michael McIntyre was on. And this was just as he was blowing up.
Right.
And I saw those two. They were on in the same section. I mean, they got their money's worth of audience.
Yeah.
Stephen K. Michael McIntyre. And I watched it and I was like, wow. Like, I'm inspired. That's the word. I felt
Inspired.
inspired by seeing what I saw. I was like, okay, just like the way, like you talking about energy before, how their energy just transcended into the audience.
Yeah.
And straight away, the audience were just on board. And the way they just played, they had the audience like that, and they're just playing about from doing their material and talking to people, and you just hearing, like I thought I got good laughs, but they went on, and I was like, oh, okay, I I thought I was doing well. Clearly, I was doing okay. Yeah, and I was like, wow, like
Yeah.
that's the another level, you know, comedy store, TV acts. It's like, yeah, and I felt like I wanna get there. I remember for a long time on my bedroom wall, I had like a little note to myself that said, "This year, uh, work your ass off to get into the comedy club, and get comedy store, etc., etc." Blah blah blah. And I had that, and I read it maybe every day as like
Wow.
inspiration. I
Yeah,
know, very
man.
corny and cheesy, but I mean, that was just. I mean, I was young. I was just determined.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, there's a neurological reason why mantras work, which is kind of a little bit like reading the same thing every day, like have it
Mm,
kind of seep in. Like we think of like 17 million different things every day, most of it subconscious.
okay.
You can only have about 40 things in your conscious, and you can concentrate on about three or four. I think
Okay.
those numbers are roughly right. And there's a bit of your brain called the reticular activating system, and that acts as a kind of doorman between your subconscious and your conscience. It says,
Okay.
it works out what comes from your subconscious into your conscience. And when
Oh,
you
okay.
hear that, the first question is, well, what does it let in? And the answer is what you tell it. Like people that say, I'm always late, are always late. Or
Okay.
people that say, I can never use new technology,
Mm.
can never use new technology. They're like, oh, look at this thing. I just can't make it work. Because what's happening there is their reticular activating system is finding all the examples in their subconscious of when they can't use technology, and it's
Mm.
bringing it up into their conscience, and you get into like a sort of feedback loop where
Yeah,
it
yeah.
just goes round and round and round. But the good news is you can do exactly the same thing but positively, reading
Oh, is that like
something.
manifesting?
Yeah, along those lines, exactly that kind of thing. That so people put mantras in the same sort of bucket as, like, I don't know, moon crystals or tarot cards or something like that.
Okay.
But
Uh,
there's actually more, like, neuroscience behind it. That must have been amazing seeing those guys gig then. A lot of people dig out Michael McIntyre, but someone once told me a long time ago in show business, never knock success. And
mm.
that guy is successful.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard people say that as well. I mean, I've got nothing bad to say about him. Every time I met him, he's been lovely and he's been funny as on stage.
Yeah,
So
right.
yeah, fair play to him, man. He's doing his thing. You know, he's good. He's a funny guy.
Absolutely. Can you remember ever getting any advice off of these comedy greats, or indeed anyone that you've ever gigged with, that you've kind of thought, oh, yeah, I'll stick that in the act, or not in your act, but I mean, I'll remember that.
I mean, there's always occasions where um comedians will see other comedians set and be like, "Hey, you could add a line about so and so here," and then you go, "Oh yeah, how did I not think about that?" But obviously, because you're so like, it's your material, you're so caught up in it, you haven't had the chance to kind of just step back, wait, and look at it from a different perspective. So yeah, there's plenty of occasions where comedians will do that, where they'll see me and be like, "Oh, I thought you were gonna use a callback for so and so, or I thought you were gonna go down this route," and I'm like, of course. Like I had a joke about when I was still living at my mum's, and come on, what the setup was. It was something like ah, there's money in the house, money in the house, something along those lines, right? And then another comedian said, I thought the punchline was going to be about a brick, and I was like, oh yeah, obviously because the house is made of bricks, and I missed the whole joke, but from that I then got an even bigger punchline
Right.
from that. You know what I mean? So yeah, comedians often help each other and have helped me in that sense.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a real kind of brother and sisterhood out there, isn't it? Like
Mm,
people realize that it's hard and it's
yeah,
difficult, and there is a kind of camaraderie to that. Like, yeah, you were living at your mum's when we were doing all those Zoom gigs because I would be hosting them. And after a while, I think I could have done your set word for word from you. You had that bit about listening to your stepdad shag your mum that was so funny.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But you do know my stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Had that line. I might have done it actually. I might have done it recently actually. Sometimes my brain just goes into old school and I just pick up something like, oh, okay, let's just try this out today. But yeah, that routine about my mom and stepdad committing the deed.
How often do you turn up to a gig, look at the audience, and add or remove things from your set?
I would say probably 90-95% of the time. Because I
You weren't
always,
changing it that much.
yeah, or I'll scan the audience to be like, okay, because most of the time when I'm doing my set, even though my jokes aren't nailed on, I know that there's certain jokes I do want to do and I do want to get to. So as long as I hit those markers, and then I'll get some other material to fill in the gaps. Um, yeah. Or if I know there's a set that I want to do, I will just I'll scan the audience. Or if I'm doubling up, as you mentioned before, so I've missed the first part of the show because I was at my other gig. If I can get there late, I'll ask the MC or other acts how have they been, what are they like, have I missed anything, etc. Just kind of get a feel, get a gauge of the audience, because I want to make sure that I can be as funny as possible to these guys. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'll scan the audience, get the info. I'll make adjustments accordingly if need be, or tweak something. Sometimes even on stage, actually, where I'll start a routine. It might not go as well. I'm like, okay, gear change, and I'll try and flip it and turn and go into something else in order to get them back on side or laughing. Yeah. So there's always something going on. Like on stage, I'm like, yeah, hey, do hey. But inside, I'm like, okay, cool. That person not laughing. Why don't I laugh? Okay, what can I do? Okay, so next bit's coming up. Okay, so make sure I have to hit this line properly and get there. Blah blah. Talk slower so they can understand. All that kind of stuff. Like, there's always something going on in there
Yeah.
that go so that outside appears cool and in control.
Yeah, sure. What do you tell yourself just before you walk on stage?
Just before I walk on stage, I will probably say a prayer that the gig goes well, that they find me funny. Um, And then it kind of depends if the crowd are like really rowdy and stuff. I'll just tell myself like just be in control. Just don't be just like walk on stage like you own the stage, like you know what you're doing. Because confidence sells. If they see that you're in control, even if someone tries it, if you kind of put them down with control, they're like, okay, he's got this. But it's like the audience can be like sharks. They smell blood, they will pounce.
Yeah.
So just walk on stage like, no, listen, I've got the mic for a reason. You guys are going to be quiet and listen to me. We're going to do this. Okay, we're going to get through this, but just I'm landing the plane.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. It's such good advice. It's so true as well.
Yeah, confidence. I remember. Oh, okay. So again, you asked me about advice that people are giving me. I remember Omen Jalili. Uh, he we were doing a gig together. Maybe I had gone on stage and he was on afterwards. Obviously, he's headlining. He was like, "Oh, you got confidence. Confidence is like 90% of this game." I was like, "Okay, cool." And that's yeah, I remember that. Confidence is it's such a major part. Like you could, I mean, a great joke is a great joke, but if you don't sell it well, the joke isn't going to be. It's not going to land as well as it should do.
Yeah.
Whereas with confidence, you could have a weaker joke, but if you sell it and package it up in such a way, the audience will buy it because you've sold it to them. You're like a salesman, really. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
you're like a sell. So it's up to you to kind of just like make the pitch as great as possible.
Exactly right. Some people think that sales is some kind of dirty word, but in reality, everyone works in sales in one
Mm.
form or another.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm selling myself right now as a podcast host to you, and you're
yeah,
thinking, how can I sell myself as a good guest? I know. I'll mention Omid Jalili.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's those types of things that we're doing to each other as we go through. I think that is so true. And yeah, it just comes down to yeah, being in control, which is why I think it never ever works when people find out that you do comedy in a bar and they go, "Well, go on then, do a bit. Do a
I
bit
I
now. Go on,
I
dance.
I
Dance, mate."
hate it. Yeah, I detest that to the point where, like, off stage, if someone asks me what I do, I won't say I'm a comedian. Like, unless like they've seen me or something and then they know. But if someone doesn't know who I am, which is fine, no need to know who I am. And if they ask me what I do for a living, I'll either say I'm a writer because I mean technically I am. I write my material, or I'll just say I work in architecture because obviously my degree's in architecture. But I don't say I'm a comedian because 98% of the time they're like, oh, go on in. Go on, give us a joke. Go on. Or like, oh, here's one for you. And it's like, I'm not working, mate. Leave me alone.
Yeah. It's like meeting someone at a party and they say, "I'm an electrician." And you say, "Oh, why don't you rewire that plug socket?"
Yeah, exactly. But for some reason, comedians are expected to just like, you know, dance puppets, dance.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I detest that so much.
actually, Nate, talking of your writing, you've reminded me of something else that we can talk about. My kids are 6 and 4 years of age, and
Mhm.
they were very impressed the other day when we were watching an episode of Jojo and Gran Gran when
Okay.
I said, "My friend Nathan writes this." And they went, "Mm." Tell us a little bit about that. How did you get that job?
um, how did I get Jojo and Graham Grand actually? Yeah, that's a very good question. How did I? Oh gosh, what was the connect? I think I got it off the back of previous work for kids shows on CBBC. So, oh God, I mean, it's like a ladder, or one thing leads to another, that leads to
Yeah,
another.
yeah, go on.
So I did a pilot for Paramount Comedy called the Nathan Caton Show back in 2007, I think it was. Okay, it wasn't a great show. I was young, was dumb, but I did it. Um,
Yeah.
and then one of the producers for that show then worked with an author to do a show called Rasta Mouse.
Yes,
And
Rasta Mouse. Yeah. Did you
because
write
also
on
I come
that?
from,
Did you
yeah,
write
I
that
wrote
as
on
well?
Rasta Mouse. I wrote on Rasta Mouse. I did a few episodes on Rasta Mouse.
Did you?
And I got that through the producer doing Nathan Caton show because he knew that I do stand up. I'm from a Caribbean background, and I talk about my grandma, my mum, and stuff in my act. He knows that I've got the Caribbean culture and stuff. He's like, "Can you come and write some shows, some episodes, Rasta Mouse?" So I did that. And I think it was doing that the people at Jojo and Gran Gran saw Caribbean background. You can write for kids TV show, and they got in touch with me to do Jojo and Gran Gran, and that's how that came about. So it's basically Jojo and Gran Gran is about a little girl and her time, her adventures with her West Indian grandparent.
That's
And
it.
obviously, yeah, I mean, I talk about my grandma on stage, being from the Caribbean and stuff. So yeah, it all tied up connected. But yeah, it's just previous things that kind of led to that.
Yeah, right. In fact, going back to my encyclopedic knowledge of your previous comedy sets from all the gigs we've done together,
Mm.
that was another one of my favorite ones where you were talking about Al Qaeda terrorists
Oh,
getting shouted out by their nans. Get out here now.
yeah, my grandma, yeah. We know you in there, boy. Yeah, 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 yeah. 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 Yeah, that
But
was one of the jokes I did on Apollo actually. Which yeah, that was
right,
one of the ones that
right,
made the
yeah.
edit.
Maybe I remember it from there. Yeah, I was for a little while a teacher of a secondary school in Peckham,
Hmm.
and there would be a large Afro-Caribbean contingency of the pupils,
Yeah.
and you would get these like gobby little 12-year-olds in front of their mates on the times when their mums came up the school. You saw a very different side of those
Yeah,
young scholars.
yeah. Very quiet, very humble all of a sudden.
What is it about Afro-Caribbean matriarchs, Nathan? Have you ever given it any thought? Why are they such tough cookies?
Oh, why? Why such tough cookies? Um, I mean, I can only speak for my mom and my grandma.
Hmm.
Um, I think they had to be tough because what they've been through, it's hardened them and it's made them stronger. You know, my grandma came here in 1961, I believe. Yeah, and she came at a time when there was the whole no blacks, no Irish, no dogs,
Yeah,
those
right.
signs and stuff like that. She had
Yeah.
to go through all of those hardships and stuff. And then she had a family, and then my granddad and my grandma, they separated. So it was my grandma raising my mom and my aunts, and then my mom, uh, she, her and my dad separated as well. So again, it was just a lot of a lot of hardships, a lot of struggles. You know what I mean? To which made them harder, and also I think what they passed on to me was just the attitude of hard work. You work hard because it pays off. Like one of my favorite sayings is, "The harder I work, the luckier I get."
Right.
You work hard, you work hard, you work hard, and also been a young black guy. They're like, chances are you're gonna have to work twice as hard to get the same thing. So knuckle down and work hard. And they drilled the whole education thing into me. So that's a big reason why I didn't start doing stand up till 19, even though I did my first gig at 14.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Is that why you invited your mum to the Apollo gig to show her that you hadn't wasted your life?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 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 yeah. The tuition fee was not done in vain. Okay, it's worth it now. It's worth it.
Yeah. So you finish a degree in architecture and then say, I think I'll be a stand-up comedian. And they're like,
Yeah,
what?
yeah. That went down as well as you think. Yeah, yeah. After all those years of like, yeah, I'm gonna be an architect. I was like, no, I'm gonna tell jokes now. I'm gonna be a professional clown, in
Yeah.
pubs, tell jokes to 20 people.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You're right about that. Maybe it is a sort of generational thing. I said a thing to my son the other day. My son's 4, and I brushed his teeth, and I didn't use. I still use kids' toothpaste, but I
Mhm.
didn't use his strawberry flavored kids' toothpaste.
Okay,
And he started crying, and I
okay.
said to him, "When my grandparents were your age, they were dodging bombs sent by the Nazis."
Mm. That's a gosh, Dad. What's a Nazi? That's yeah. That's
Well, yeah, yeah. Sit down. I'll take you through the whole thing. But yeah, I think fundamentally you're right. Tough times produce tough people, and soft times produce softer people. Like
yeah.
even in our lifetime, there were managers like Alex Ferguson who used they
Mm.
used to call it the hair dryer because he
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
put his face right next to players and
Mm.
scream at them, and this like hot air blowing over you. But that produced tough players on the pitch who could kind of put it about a bit, or like,
Yeah, yeah.
lift the team if they were playing badly. People like, I don't know, Terry, Keane,
Yeah.
Vieira, Adams, those types of players. Whereas now, I don't know, maybe it's because I'm just a sort of old bastard talking about the old days. But now, if you see a team go like, I don't know, 2-0 down in the first 20 minutes or something like that, they all seem to be like looking at each other a little bit, and like no one knows
Yeah.
what to sort of say or do because there aren't any, as many anyway, leaders on the pitch
Yeah.
who
Yeah,
give
yeah.
everyone a bit of a rocket up their ass. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that tough love, it produces character. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Um, it's character building.
It
You
is
know, like
character building.
pressure produces diamonds, as they say.
Thank you. I wonder if it'll ever go in a full circle, if there'll ever be a manager who starts lobbing teacups around dressing rooms and they start winning everything, and everyone's like,
It's
that's what we need
it's
to do.
it's gotta be, man. Things go in cycles, so it's gonna come back eventually. There's gonna be some tough nut. Like I don't know, I'm trying to think of a crazy player at the moment. I can't think of who, but there's gonna be one crazy player who goes into management in about 10, 15 years, and he starts this cycle of like tough love, and they start winning everything.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All this. And it's funny because, people would look at it for like good intentions, don't they? Like, now players are respected and no one shouts at them. And that's a good thing. And it's like, yeah, but we used to have some real characters when
Yeah,
people were being shouted at. People like
it's
squaring up to each other on the pitch, like even in the tunnel before they got on the pitch.
yeah,
There would be
oh,
people
yeah,
like, hey, yeah, you wait till we get out there.
yeah,
Whereas now they're all like, hey man, high five. And it's like, don't do that before the game. Tell him
yeah,
he's
yeah,
got
yeah.
to slip.
Yeah, yeah. There's pros and cons to it. There's times when you want to see brotherhood, and there's times when you want to see, no, come on, mate. This ain't the time for like,
Yes,
lovey dovey. Get in there.
absolutely. Absolutely. Well, mate, I can't tell you how much I've enjoyed this chat. It's been
Oh,
really good fun, and I think we've covered some interesting topics here today.
well, thanks for having me, man. It's been fun to chat, man. Thanks for chat.
Just before we go, Nathan,
Yeah.
on the off chance that anyone listening to this isn't already locked into all of your socials and where you're going to be gigging, how would they find you?
So Instagram is at Nathan.Caton, Caton, and Nathan's Nathan, not On. TikTok is Nathan Caton Comedian. I mean, I'm on X, but I don't use it because I'm not mental.
Yeah.
And then NathanCaton.com. I've got my listings for my gigs, and also I'm back doing Rocky Horror this summer, so I may be in the theatre near you as well.
Fantastic. We didn't even get a chance to talk about that, but we'll always leave them wanting more, Nate. That's a rule of show
Yeah,
business, ain't it?
that's cool. That's cool.
Best of luck with that and everything you're up to, and I hope our paths cross in real life very soon.
I will do. I'm sure about it.
Top man. So there you have it. The brilliantly talented Mr. Nathan Caton. I just got to say about him, what a normal, unaffected bloke he is. It would be so easy, having done all the stuff that he has, to be a little bit like, yeah, I suppose so. But I could have spoke to him all day. What a legend. I loved that chat. Here are three things that I took from it. Number one, what Nathan said about learning more through failure is absolutely spot on. I can tell you from personal experience, you can have dozens of gigs that go well and you don't really learn anything. It's when the needle scratches off the record that your learning goes through the ceiling. Number two, when we were talking about the dodgiest gigs that he'd ever done, if you're ever setting up a room for any kind of performance, think to yourself, will this work? And number three, the times that Nathan and me have worked together, we got talking about the power of an intro. If you're ever bringing someone on, wherever possible, pump up their tires a little bit if you can. It's the difference between whoever's coming on having a rolling or a static start. Thanks for listening to Before, During, After, a Smirk Experience podcast about performance from the inside. If you've enjoyed it, why not share it with someone who you think might get it? And give us a follow while you're at it. See you next time.